The paper I'm using is 300 GSM 100% cotton cold pressed watercolor paper, and I'm using paints from both Mijello and Daniel Smith. Firstly, I'm dampening the paper with clean water using a large sized brush, as you can also use a flat brush for more efficiency. Then I'm using a brush to add some yellow here and there. This cadmium yellow medium hue from Daniel Smith is highly dispersive and slightly staining, so be careful not to use too much paint or cover too large an area. And then I'm adding some Quinacridone Permanent Rose from Mijello. This is a very intense color, but when diluted, it reveals a soft pinkish tone. I'm adding it to the paper, almost next to the yellow. They can overlap in places, but don't cover all of the yellow. Now I'm adding some Perylene Green to the bottom of the paper. When painting this, I'm keeping a loose grip and to avoid the colors being too thick or to make sure I'm not covering too large an area. This paint doesn't disperse much, so you can brush over the same area multiple times to add more color without it spreading too far. I'm adding a little thick Imperial Purple to the mid area of the paper like this, and I'm using a clean dry brush to soften the edges to let it blend into the background colors naturally. When softening harsh edges or colors on wet paper, make sure your brush is clean and holds only a minimal amount of water to avoid unwanted backgrounds. And then I'm adding the greens again to strengthen the colors for the second time. White on white can seem challenging at first, but it really just takes a bit of patience or with reworking and layering, since watercolor tends to dry lighter and less vibrant. Building up the painting through a few layers helps the final result stay rich and luminous. One of the most important skills in white on white is water control. Each time you add a new layer, the amount of water on your brush should generally be less than the moisture already on the paper, and this helps prevent unwanted blooms or keeps the pigments from being pushed around. This balance isn't something you measure precisely, it's more of an intuitive feel. In most cases, 2 or 3 layers are enough to build depth, and with just a bit of practice, you'll start to recognize when your brush holds more or less water than the paper beneath it. I'm adding more depth by painting some thick Moonglow colors. You should keep the water minimum on the brush to avoid unwanted backgrounds. I'm lifting some colors here using a clean dry brush. This will make the dark area feel less dull and help the transition appear softer and more natural. Now I'm waiting for the paper to dry, and once it's 100% dry, I'm painting some flowers. And I'm using the same rose and yellow for the first flower. I'm extending the petals like this and creating this 2-color gradient. As for this technique, I explained it in detail in a previous video. It can create flowers with a natural gradient between 2 colors, and it naturally works well with any color combination, even for complementary ones. And feel free to check it out. As you can see here, even though I'm using a very thin brush, the flower still turns out quite large with this technique. So try to avoid reaching for a bigger brush, even if it's what you normally go for. That's because this approach is a bit different from what you might have seen in other tutorials, where petals are often painted by filling in smooth gradients from the center of the flower to the tip. In that method, the brush size usually matches the size of the petal, but here, I'm more like outlining both sides of each petal instead, which allows you to create much larger or more varied petal shapes even with a fine brush. That said, there's no need to go to the other extreme of using an extra fine liner brush. Your brush should still be able to hold a decent amount of water. For the same reason, I'd recommend avoiding very low quality synthetic brushes as they often don't carry water well and may lead to patchy results. I'm adding the stems now using Ivory Black. The brush I'm using is a fun brush from the Black Velvet series, not exactly a thin liner brush, but it has a nice point at the tip. If you've seen my other videos, you know that I use Black Velvet brushes a lot. They have a smooth feel and a sharp tip, so you can still get a fine lines with them. But of course, you can also use a liner brush for this step if you prefer. Now I'm using some white ink to add decorative dots in the background. After finishing painting these dots, these flowers are 100% dry. I'm using this liner brush from Davinci to add a few highlights to the flower petals. Just keep in mind not to add too many lines or make them too stiff. Try to avoid symmetry as well so the highlights feel more natural and expressive.